Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how you can actually use PHP code to manage content on your website, and how you can actually template out a website using PHP as well. This works especially well if you don't use a content management system like WordPress, and if you like to just build things straight from scratch. It's a really easy way to update content on your website without having a CMS involved. So to get into it, the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you have a PHP environment installed on your computer. You're going to want to look for something like this here. Let me show you. XAMPP. You can actually download this off the internet free of charge. If you go to Google and just type in XAMPP, you should be able to find it. The web URL is apachefriends.org. You'll click the link, and there's download instructions right here, or download buttons. You can actually download for Windows, Linux, or Mac. And you'll install this on your computer, and what this will do is it will give you a PHP environment to work in. Without this, you will not be able to work in PHP on your computer. It basically installs a local server, local hosting server on your computer that will allow you to work in PHP code. So that's the very first thing that you're going to need to do, is install this environment. Once you install it, you'll come down to your bar here in your search menu. You'll find a folder that says htdocs folder, and that is where you're going to want to install all, or do all of your PHP code in. Any folders, any files, you'll make sure that your PHP is actually in this folder here. To start, I'm just going to start a new folder here. And I'm going to just title this, let's see, template 1, template, we'll call it template underscore site, okay, and we'll save that out for now. And what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do, I'm not going to actually build a website out from scratch. I'm going to go over to Google again, and I'm going to go to starterbootstrap.com. If you just type in starter bootstrap templates in Google, you will come to this https startbootstrap.com templates. Click on that, and it'll bring you to this page. These are all Bootstrap files that you can download and use as starter templates. So for this, we're just going to do something bare bones, real bare bones and quick. I'm just going to use a small business template here, and I'm going to click that. You can actually do a live preview of the site or the page itself, and that'll give you an idea as how everything looks. You got your menu bar, your footer at the bottom, there's an image, business tagline, some paragraph text, a call to action button, a call to action tagline in the middle here, and then there's 3 cards as well at the bottom. Alright, so we're going to save this. We're going to go back here to the original page, and we're going to just click free download, and we're going to open this up. Once it downloads, we're going to grab this folder entirely, and what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste that. We're going to paste that into our htdocs folder. So come back down to our htdocs folder, and we're going to paste that in to our template site folder that we made. Paste it in, and now what we can do is extract all these files here, and this out. Alright, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is we have this folder here that's, we click in and it's giving us another folder. So essentially what that's doing is it's giving us 3 folders that we would have to go into. So what we're going to want to do is just grab all these files here. We're going to copy them. And then we're going to go back to our main folder. And we're just going to paste them all into this main folder here. And then we'll delete this starter bootstrap out that we extracted completely. So now we have all the files here, CSS vendor files, the vendor files hold the bootstrap files, the jQuery, etc., etc. And it has the index.html in here, which we will use shortly. So now what you're going to do is, once this is copied and pasted into your htdocs folder that you started, we'll exit out and we're going to go back into our text editor. And let me just close all these out. Your text editor, and you're going to go up to File, and you're going to go Open Folder, and you're going to navigate to that htdocs. I already have it up here because I work in the htdocs folder 99.9% of the time. So I'm going to go over to my htdocs folder, click in that, and I'm going to find that template site _ site folder. Click on that, and I'm going to select the folder. And now what that's going to do is it's going to open up all those files inside of my Sublime text editor. So if you notice here, I have index.html. I could just click on that, and that will give me all the HTML for the website itself here. Okay, great. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is, since this is an index.html file, you're not going to be able to use any PHP code whatsoever unless you rename the file index.php. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this as, resave it as index.php, and I'm going to save this file out. And now what I can do is I can go back to this index.html and I can completely delete that out altogether. I no longer need that. So essentially it's the same as the index.html. We're just updating it with the PHP extension so you can actually work in PHP. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do, what I like to do, is just open this up in the browser. We're actually in the, we're going to open this up in on our local server. Let me close out some of these windows here real quick so I can show you guys. Alright, so we're going to open a new window, and in order to access this, we have this folder template site _ site in all caps, and the name of the file is index.php. So what we're going to do is type localhost / because we're actually going to go into that template _ site folder, and then we're going to go in and grab the index.php file, and boom, there we go, it loaded perfectly. Alright, so now we have the index.php file. This is what we're going to be working with. So to start, we're going to just have a quick look at everything that's going on. We have the headline here that we can change dynamically. We're going to just work on all the content here. You can actually do this with all of the buttons too as well, or not the buttons. So we can do this up here in the title, this little logo up the top here. We can use it for the buttons, in the footer, changing the text in the footer, anywhere there's basically text or content that needs to be updated or will need to be updated over a series of time, course of time. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is, now that this is open, we're going to go back to our index.php file that we started. And we're going to go into File, and we're going to actually open a new file. And we're going to name this file variables variables .php. Alright, so what this is going to do, this variables PHP file is going to be an external PHP file that's actually going to hold all the variables for the content that you're going to be updating on the website in your index.php file. So to get started, we're going to have to actually open PHP in this file. So we're going to go PHP, open tag, and we're going to close out the PHP tag. And we're just going to save it for now. And then we're going to go back to our index.php. At the very top of our index.php file, we'll give it a little bit of space here. What we're going to do is we're going to go back in, and we are going to include this variables PHP file. So essentially what it's doing is it's linking to that PHP file, sort of how you would link an external style sheet or a JavaScript file. So what we'll do is we'll open up PHP. We'll close out the PHP tag, and there's a construct called include. So we're going to be including that file, and inside of these brackets here we're going to include the file variables .php, and we'll see. Alright, so great. So now this is actually linked, this PHP file, variables.php file is actually linked over now into our index.php. So now the next thing you'll want to need to do is go back into your variables.php, and you're going to find the first snippet of text that you're going to want to update on the website, or essentially the content that you're going to want to be able to manage over time. So the first thing that we see is this business name or tagline, which was at the very top of the site right here, and we're going to find that in our HTML. Business name or tagline, it's right here in H1 tag with the class of font weight light, and we're going to want to actually create a variable now inside of our PHP tag for that particular piece of content. So now we'll start off with a $, because all variables in PHP actually start off with a $, and we'll just name this header text, and we'll set it equal to whatever we would like to update that content to. So I have header text as the variable, and it's set equal to, let's just say, welcome to my website. And then we'll close this out with a semicolon. Control S to save. Now what we're going to do is go back over. We have this variable saved now with that little bit of content, and we're going to go back over to our index.php file, and we're going to delete out this business name or tagline information, because that's what we're going to be changing. And we're going to open up PHP tag, open up the PHP, we'll close out the PHP tag, and then inside of that we are going to echo actually will output the PHP onto your page. We're going to echo out that particular variable, header text. So we're going to copy this just to make it simple, paste it over, and we'll add the semicolon to close it out, and then we'll Control S to save it, and then we'll go back to our index.php and we'll refresh the page, and there we go. Welcome to my website. So now you can see that it's actually dynamically changed that piece of content. Now we can actually just go through the entire site. I'll go through this again. So we have this paragraph text next, and I'm going to go back over to my variables file that I started, and we'll name this header p-text, all caps for p-text, and then we will set the variable equal to whatever piece of content we would like to put in there, whatever we would like this to say. So typically you could do like lorem ipsum text. For this one, I'll just say this site demonstrates how to create variables in PHP and dynamically change content just by updating the variables file. Alright, so we'll close this out, semicolon, Control S to save. We'll go back to our index.php and then we'll find that paragraph text again. Delete this out. Same thing, open the PHP tag, PHP, close out the PHP tag, and then inside of that PHP tag, we're going to echo that variable. We can grab this again, just copy, paste that over, add the semicolon to close it out, Control S to save that index file, and then we'll go back over to our index.php, we'll reload. There you go. This site demonstrates how to create variables in PHP and dynamically change content just by updating the variables file. Perfect. Alright, so next set of text or set of content that we'll want to update is this tagline right here in the center. And we can do that same way. Go in and create another variable. And we'll just call this, let's see, what can we call this one? We'll call this the call to action. Text, txt. We'll set it equal to this is call to action text. Say something clever to catch your viewers' attention here. And then we'll actually close that out with a semicolon. Same thing, we'll come back in and we will find that text right here, delete it out, open the PHP tag, and we will close out the PHP tag. And same thing, we'll echo that same exact variable, go back and grab this variable name, paste that variable name in, add the semicolon, Control S, and we'll go back and refresh one more time, and there we go. This call to action text, this is a call to action text, say something clever to catch your viewers' attention. Perfect. Alright, so now we have 3 cards at the bottom. We can actually just do the same process for each 3 of these cards. Pretty fairly simple. You just go through the whole same process that we just did for the rest of the content. And now what I'm going to show you guys is once you get all your content in, You can always go back and just change it, easily change it just by updating this variables file. It will always change that information for you. But what I want to show you guys is pretty cool here. So say for instance you're building something out from scratch and you have this navigation bar, for instance, this nav bar, all this here, all that code, and you have your footer code, and you know that that code is going to be consistently used throughout your entire website, and you're not going to want to type that code out every single time. Well, what you can do is you can actually use PHP to dynamically pull that data or that nav bar or that footer into your actual website itself. So in order to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to go back up to File, and we're going to start a new file. And this file we're going to save it as navbar.php. Save it. We're going to go back over to our index, and we're going to grab all that code out of there. So we're going to actually just cut it out for now. Cut it. And then we're going to paste all that code into our navbar.php. Paste it. Save it. Control S. Alright, so to demonstrate this to you guys, what I'm going to do is just save this out. I'm going to save this file, this index.php that we just cut the navbar from. And then we're going to reload. And then once I reload, what you'll see is that navbar, that tap navbar, is completely gone. Alright, so how do we bring it back into our website? How can we do this? Alright, so now what we're going to do is go back over to our index.php file. We're going to go back into our index.php file, and we're going to bring that navbar PHP back. So in order to do that, we're going to open up another PHP tag. And we're going to use a different construct this time. It's called require once. Require underscore once. And it's just like this include up top, but it's only pulling in that information one time. So brackets, and then we're going to pull that in navbar. Make sure it's spelled correctly. Navbar.php, and we're going to close it out with a semicolon and save. And then if we reload, you'll see now the menu's back up again. So what that essentially is doing is it's giving us reusable code that we can use over and over again throughout the course of our entire website. Anytime that we want to just make a change, we'll just go back into that navbar PHP file, and we can, you know, add a new link. For instance, if I wanted to add, I don't know, let's add a blog link. Copy, and I'll set that right here, Control B, and we're going to set that to blog, and I'll just save that out, and then we'll go back and we'll reload. There we go. We have a blog link now in our navbar. And we can actually do this for the footer too. So same process. We'll go back to our index.php file right here, and we're going to go grab all the footer code right here, footer, grab that, cut it, and we'll save this out for now, Control S to save, and then what we'll do is I'll reload this again, and you'll see the footer is completely gone. Now what we can do is we can go back, File, New File, and we're going to name this, we're going to save this as footer.php, save, and we're going to just paste all that code in, Control S, save it out. Save that out, and go back to our index file, open the PHP tag up, close the PHP tag out, and then same thing, require underscore once, brackets, and then we're going to include that footer dot PHP code. Close this out with a semicolon. Control S to save. And now if we go back and reload, what you'll see is we have the footer back again. Perfect. Alright, so now you're probably saying, well, what happens if I want to actually go and change this information, this copyright information? Well, we can actually do the same thing. We can just go back in, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Is we're going to go back into variables.php and declare that variable footer text txt, set it to this is our footer text. Close this out with a semicolon. And then we're going to go back into our footer.php this time. And we're going to do the same thing that we did previously. We're going to open the PHP tag, open the PHP, close out the PHP tag, and then we're going to echo that same variable again, footer text, close it out with a semicolon, save it. Now we can go back and we'll reload again, and there you go. This is our footer text. So now you have a perfect way to manage content on your built from scratch website using just a little bit of PHP code, and you can actually update your content through this variables.php file. And I have also showed you guys how you can essentially save components like your nav bar and your footer to be able to reuse them time and time again throughout your entire website. So say for instance I just wanted to start a new fresh page altogether, all I would have to do is essentially let's see, we're going to go File, New, and say, for instance, we want it in an About Me page. Ooh. We're just going to go copy all this, and we're just going to paste this in. We're going to save this as about.php, save, and then all we have to do, your content is all going to be different, right? So all you really have to do is just leave the require once navbar PHP in, and all that require once footer PHP in. We'll delete this out completely. Control S to save. And then what we'll do is we're going to load this into our browser here. We're going to load this as about.php, and as you can see, we have our footer text meeting the menu bar. That's all that's left. So now we have our footer and our menu without any content, so we can start new and fresh with brand new content in that center part. Alright, so hopefully that was helpful for you guys. And I will try to do more of these. And have a great day.